Hey guys, I am back and this is going to be my last video about the amazing science fiction thriller Found that we read together by the incredible author Margaret Peterson Haddix. So I wanted to give you guys some questions, some food for thought, things that I would love to hear your responses to. And just like with our last book, The Westing Game, I'm going to put my email right here. Here's my email. It's my special email just for this channel, just for us to talk about books together, and I would love for you to send me your thoughts on the book, your responses to these questions, any questions that you have, anything like that. Please send it to me in this email, and I will definitely respond, and I would love to have a conversation about this book with you. So I'm going to share with you guys some questions that I came up with that I would love to hear your answers to. So if we were in class, I would have written these questions in your reader's notebook for you to respond to, or we would talk about them in our book club discussion. But since it's the summertime and we are obviously not in class together, we're going to talk about them on here. So my first question for you guys is that throughout the beginning of the story, Jonah is really reluctant to investigate. Chip and Katherine are calling all the witnesses, right? They're like doing all this stuff. They're like really trying to find out, and Jonah just wants to focus on school and basketball and his history tests. Why do you think that Jonah was so unwilling to investigate at the beginning? And why do you think he ended up changing his mind? Right? When do you think that point was, right? Like, what do you think made him change his mind and go from, no, I don't want anything to do with that, it's like too much for me, can't handle it, don't want to think about it, to, okay, yes, now we need to find answers and we're going to end up time traveling? So the second question I have for you guys is about Katherine. So she is a super loyal sister. Jonah says so himself, right? That she gets herself into danger just because of her loyalty, right? She's really dedicated to helping Jonah no matter what. Even when it gets dangerous, she doesn't turn around and run away, even though she could, right? She still is dedicated to helping. So if you were in this scenario, if you were in this book, would you be the same as Katherine? Would you be dedicated and loyal like that for your sibling? Or do you think, you know, when they were about to go into the cave and Jonah said, Katherine, you should go get help, and she said no, would you have said yes and turn around to go get help? The third question I have for you guys is that if Hodge, who wanted to go to the past, and JB, Hodge, who wanted them to go to the future, and JB, who wanted them to go back to the past, offered you that choice, what would you pick and why? I'm really curious to hear your answers about this, because I think there's a good argument for wanting to go to the future, right? They talk about how it's better, it's cooler, they've seen some of that amazing technology that they have access to, but there's also a good argument for going to the past, right? Trying to help save humanity, right? JB said it's basically saving the world, right? Like, that's a good argument too. So what would you pick and why? All right, and my last question for you is to make a prediction. This is the first in a series. There's 8 books in the series total. I don't have any of the other books, but I think I've read the next maybe 2 books, maybe the next one, I can't remember. But this book came out a few years before the other ones, so I didn't end up reading the whole series. But there's a ton more books, right? So I want you to make a prediction about the next book. What do you think is going to happen, right? They ended up going back in time to the 15th century where the kid named Alex and Chip are supposed to be, right, where they came from. But Jonah and Katherine are along for the ride. And they made a deal with JB to say that they are going to try to fix the 15th century. And if they do fix it, if they fix the time ripples and the damage and all of that kind of time travel-y stuff, that they will be able to come home. So do you think they're going to be successful? What do you think they're going to have to do? And if you were the author, how would you write the next book, right? So, and last but not least, so that was my last question for you guys, but I just wanted to let you know, like I said, this is the first of 8 books, and the public library has them, so please, please, please check it out if you want to read more. Also, all of Margaret Peterson Haddix's books are amazing. I've read a bunch of them, and I don't think I've read even one that I didn't like. So I would definitely recommend all of her books, but especially if you are interested, keep reading this series. And if you read the next book in the series, please tell me about it. Tell me if it's good. Tell me if I should read it. Let me know, okay? Because I want to hear from you guys. All right, don't forget to send me an email with your answers to these questions. I cannot wait to hear from you guys. Talking about books is one of my favorite things to do in the whole world. And talking about books with kids is even more fun than talking about books with grown-ups, because you guys have, honestly, don't tell anyone I said this, but you guys have way more creative ideas than grown-ups do, so talking about books with kids is way more fun. Alright, so don't forget to send me an email. I'd love to hear your answers to the questions, and stay tuned for tomorrow's video where we are going to start a brand new book. Bye guys.